Maniac Mansion was a game that created a genre. Instead of typing everything out and guessing what you're looking at, for the first time ever you could just point and click. Originally, Maniac Mansion was released for the Commodore 64. Shortly thereafter, it was released on the PC. It was ported to the NES 3 years later. Okay, ported is an understatement. This game was completely redesigned for the NES, with a number of additions that really improved the game. The game was also altered to meet Nintendo's game standards policy. Nintendo had very strict rules about what content was allowed on the NES in America. Basically, there was to be no sex or nudity, no gratuitous violence, no references to real-life events or people, and no smoking, drugs, drinking, or bad words. However, this censorship of games was horribly inconsistent between games and even within games. Maniac Mansion is a perfect example. In this game, you choose 3 kids and infiltrate a creepy mansion in order to save Dave's girlfriend. The house inhabits a number of strange individuals. Fred, the mad scientist, Edna, the creepy nurse, Ed, the man-child, Ted, the green tentacle, and the purple tentacle. Let's start with Edna, an older lady but with a frisky side. She had a particular interest in her young male intruders and scrawled risque notes on bathroom walls. Not so much in the NES release. She's just a cranky old hag who locks kids in dungeons instead of kicking them out or calling the cops, and writes her own number on the bathroom wall in her own house. So instead of being loony, perhaps because her husband has spent 5 years in a basement leaving her sex deprived, she's just plain crazy. Some items were outright removed due to Nintendo's dislike for nudity. A large statue that probably cost a fortune, as well as some mummy porn. Of course, the mummies weren't naked, they're mummies, but they were being a tad too naughty. Strangely enough, this record remained in the game, the tentacle mating call. And the green tentacle goes berserk when you play it for him. He doesn't kill you though. I guess it's okay for green tentacles to display some sexuality, but not so much for mummies. As far as violence goes, Nintendo was generous by still allowing the kids to die. They can inhale radioactive steam, blow up the house, and get killed by Ed after killing his hamster. Yep, you can kill a hamster. If you have the right kid in your party, you can put the hamster in the microwave and blow it up. This slipped by the censors at first, but subsequent releases of the game had it removed. But there couldn't be a game called Kill Thrill. No way. That's too violent. And some of Ed's dialogue was misunderstood by the censors, who thought he was inferring that Fred was a cannibal. He brings bodies into the basement and he hasn't eaten in 5 years. I guess I can kind of see where they're coming from, except you learn in the game that he's making them into zombies. The machine itself is called the Zombie-matic. But that's nothing a few change in words and the removal of a skeleton can't fix. Now there's no cannibalism in the game, even though there wasn't any in the first place. And just to be extra careful that kids don't start eating each other, this brain is just pretty instead of having a chewy caramel center. There was some graphic language that needed to be removed as well, like when Fred said he's going to suck Wendy's brains out. Obviously, it's okay to remove someone's brain, but sucking it out is just gross. In what seems like an act of bitterness towards the need to change the language in that early scene, the developers also removed the Disco Sucks poster from the Green Tentacles room. Edna's character really suffered the most in the translation of the game. When you call Edna from the library, she immediately expects it's a prank call and starts mocking the caller about it. But in the NES version, she just thinks it's dead cousin Ted calling her. It's really too bad. In the PC version, she came across as a snarky, loopy, but not altogether crazy woman. But in the NES version, she is just completely off her rocker. But the NES version did have the makings to be the definitive version of Maniac Mansion. The redesign looks amazing. I think it looks better than the enhanced PC version. Or maybe I'm just biased toward NES graphics, and that funny expression on Dave's face. The rooms are less spread out so the characters have less room to traverse, and the characters also walk so much faster. This is an absolute blessing. The What Is option was removed so that you could identify items simply by hovering the cursor over them. In the original, there was the additional step of choosing what is to find an object's identity, or, if it's dark, to find where the object actually is. I wouldn't say that the censorship outright ruined the game, but it did disrupt the atmosphere and change the characters. The conversion process of the game was extremely difficult, according to Douglas Crockford, the manager of the NES release. The game was subject to a number of revisions. Some changes weren't even implemented until after the game was featured in Nintendo Power. Despite some awesome improvements to the NES version of the game, I will always choose the PC version first. I just enjoy Edna's character so much more with her original dialogue. Man, what a creep. Hello everybody, I'm Rinri. That was Maniac Mansion, an excellent example of Nintendo censorship. Really, I think the most surprising thing is that there was blood all throughout the game. Well, in several places throughout the game, but you could not say the word kill. If you want to hear about more Nintendo censorship stuff, you can check out my other video all about where you can find censored material, where you can find uncensored material, all in the 8-bit and 16-bit era. I also have retro video game news, non-nostalgic reviews, comparisons of NES and Master System games, lots of retro stuff on my channel. You should go check it out. Nice meeting you guys. See ya! Happy gaming!